You got the raise. You felt rich for about 3 weeks. Then somehow, mysteriously, you were broke again, and you have no idea how. This happens to almost everyone, and it has nothing to do with being irresponsible, nothing to do with being bad with money, nothing to do with not earning enough. It has everything to do with something nobody ever explained to you. Something so simple it is almost embarrassing once you see it, but also something so quietly powerful that it determines whether your salary builds your life or just funds it. Let me tell you about Alex. Alex is 23 years old, just landed his first real job, decent salary, nothing crazy, but enough to feel like he finally made it. First month, the money hits his account, and he feels something he has never felt before in his life, like he could breathe, like everything is going to be okay now. He goes out that weekend, buys a few things he has been putting off, treats his family to dinner, nothing excessive. He is being responsible, he tells himself, just celebrating a little. Second month, same thing, a little here, a little there. Life is expensive, turns out. Rent, food, phone bill, transportation, a few small luxuries because he deserves it, right? He worked hard to get here. 6 months in, Alex looks at his bank account and realizes something uncomfortable, that despite earning more money than he ever has in his life, he is somehow saving almost nothing. Not zero, but close enough to zero that it makes him feel slightly sick when he thinks about it too hard. So he tries not to think about it too hard. Sound familiar? Here is what Alex thinks his problem is. He thinks he just needs to earn more. A raise, a promotion, a better opportunity, something. Once the number goes up, he tells himself, then he will start saving properly. Then he will get serious. Then everything will fall into place. Here is what Alex's actual problem is. He has been handed one of the oldest, most quietly devastating financial traps in existence, and nobody ever bothered to explain it to him. Not his school, not his parents, because they fell into the same trap. Not his employer, obviously. The trap has a name. It's called lifestyle inflation. And it is the single biggest reason why salary on its own will never make you rich, no matter how high it goes. Here is how it works. When you have very little money, your lifestyle is simple by necessity. Student life, early 20s life, whatever it looks like for you, basic food, cheap rent, old phone, you make it work because you have to. Then the money comes in, and something completely natural happens. Your lifestyle expands to meet it. Slightly better apartment, slightly nicer food, new phone because the old one was genuinely falling apart, a few subscriptions, a gym membership, clothes that actually fit properly. All of this feels completely reasonable in the moment, because it is reasonable. You earned it. But here is the problem. Every time your income goes up, your expenses follow it. Not always immediately, not always obviously, but they follow. Month by month, year by year, expense by expense, your lifestyle quietly calibrates itself to consume almost exactly what you earn, sometimes a little more. This is why there are people earning $50,000 a year who feel broke, and people earning $50,000 a year who are building real wealth. Same salary, completely different outcomes. The difference isn't the number. It's what happens to the number every single month. Let's go back to Alex. 2 years later, Alex gets a promotion. Salary goes up by 20%. He is genuinely excited. This is it, he thinks. Now I will finally start saving seriously. What actually happens? Within 3 months, his monthly expenses have quietly adjusted upward to absorb most of the raise. Small things mostly. Slightly better apartment because he can finally afford one. Eating out a bit more because he has been working harder and he deserves it. Upgrading a few things he has been putting off. Nothing dramatic. No one single ridiculous purchase. Just a gradual, almost invisible expansion of normal. And Alex is back to saving almost nothing, just at a higher income level. This pattern, by the way, has a name beyond lifestyle inflation. Economists call it the hedonic treadmill. The idea that humans naturally adapt to improved circumstances and return to roughly the same baseline level of satisfaction. The nicer apartment that felt like a luxury in month 1 feels completely normal by month 6. The new phone that felt exciting in week 1 is just your phone by week 3. And so the threshold for what feels like enough keeps quietly moving upward, chasing a feeling of satisfaction that never quite stays put. Our brains are wired to adapt, to normalize, to push us toward wanting more. In the ancient world, this kept humans alive. In the modern financial world, it quietly drains them. So if salary doesn't make you rich, what does? Let's talk about what actually builds wealth, because this is where it gets genuinely interesting. The people who build real financial security, not just high income but actual lasting wealth, they all do one thing differently. Not smarter investments necessarily, not higher salaries necessarily, not some secret strategy that only certain people know about. They pay themselves first. That's it. Before the rent, before the groceries, before the night out, before any of the completely reasonable and justified expenses that will absolutely consume every available dollar if given the chance. They take a fixed percentage of every paycheck and put it somewhere it cannot easily be touched, not what's left over at the end of the month, because there is never anything left over at the end of the month. The end of the month is a myth. There is no magical surplus sitting there waiting to be invested. Lifestyle will find it first. Lifestyle always finds it first. Pay yourself first. Take it off the top, automatically, before your brain gets a chance to decide it needs something else. This sounds simple. It is simple. It is also, for reasons that are entirely psychological, genuinely difficult for most people to actually do consistently. Here is why. Paying yourself first requires you to slightly constrain your present lifestyle in exchange for a future that feels abstract and distant. And human brains are notoriously bad at this trade-off. We are wired to prioritize what is immediate and real over what is future and theoretical. The coffee you want right now feels more real than the financial security you will want at 65. This is not stupidity. This is neuroscience. But here is the thing. Once you automate it, once the money moves before you see it, before it lands in your spending account, before your brain registers it as available, the adjustment is remarkably painless. You adapt down just as easily as you adapt up. The lifestyle that felt tight at first becomes normal. The new baseline recalibrates. The hedonic treadmill works in both directions. Let's put some numbers to this, because numbers make it real. Imagine Alex decides, after something finally makes this click for him, to automate 20% of every paycheck into a separate account the moment it arrives. Not 60%, not some heroic, impossible amount, 20%. At his current salary, that is a meaningful but manageable amount. His lifestyle adjusts, uncomfortably at first, then normally, then invisibly. He stops noticing it within a few months, the same way he stopped noticing his phone upgrade within a few weeks. Now imagine he does this consistently for 20 years. Not perfectly, some months harder than others, but consistently, as a default, as a system, rather than a decision he has to make each month. The math at the end of 20 years, with even modest investment returns, is not exciting in month 1. It is not exciting in year 2. It becomes genuinely, life-alteringly significant somewhere around year 10. And by year 20, it represents a kind of financial stability that most people who earned the same salary as Alex, or even significantly more, simply never achieved, because they waited for what was left over, and there was never anything left over. Now here is something important, and I want to be honest with you about it. Paying yourself first and investing consistently is not going to make you rich if you are earning genuinely very little. There are real structural realities to income that this kind of advice sometimes glosses over. If the rent is genuinely consuming everything, if there is genuinely nothing left, the solution is not to feel bad about yourself for not saving. The solution first is finding ways to increase income. Side work, better opportunities, skills that translate to higher earnings. Saving strategy matters enormously once you have something to save. Getting there is a different conversation. But for anyone earning a middle-class income or above, which describes most people watching content like this, the barrier is almost never actually the income level. It's the lifestyle that expands to meet it. Alex, by the way, is not a fictional character I invented for this video. Alex is most of us. Alex is the 23-year-old version of millions of Americans who were never taught how money actually works, who were handed a salary and told good luck, who assumed that earning more would eventually solve the problem that was never really about earning more to begin with. The problem was never the number. The problem was always what happened to the number. And the solution is almost offensively simple once you see it. Not easy, simple. Decide what percentage of every paycheck belongs to your future self before your present self gets a vote. Automate that decision so it doesn't require willpower every single month. Build a lifestyle on what remains. And then, when the raises come, when the income grows, resist, consciously and deliberately, the completely natural urge to let the lifestyle grow with it. Let the income go up. Keep the lifestyle roughly where it is. Watch the gap between what you earn and what you spend become the most powerful financial tool you have. That gap, by the way, has a name too. It's called your savings rate. And your savings rate, more than your salary, more than your investment choices, more than any other single variable, determines how quickly you build financial freedom. High income, high lifestyle, zero gap. You will work until you physically cannot work anymore. Moderate income, controlled lifestyle, meaningful gap, invested consistently. You will have options most high earners never have. Alex figured this out at 25. Not at 23 when he first got the job. Not immediately. It took a conversation, a moment of genuine honesty with himself about where the money was actually going, and one decision to automate something before his lifestyle could argue otherwise. He is 30 now, 5 years of consistent, boring, automatic investing. Nothing dramatic, no genius stock picks, no crypto moonshots, no side hustle that exploded overnight, just the gap, protected every month, invested simply, left alone, and for the first time in his adult life, Alex doesn't feel like he needs more money. He feels like he has a system, and the system, quietly and invisibly, is working for him every single month, whether he thinks about it or not. That is what your salary cannot do for you. That is what the system can. If this made something click that hasn't clicked before, subscribe.